Hi to you, my dear student. In this video, we will be talking with first, addition of polynomials, and second, subtraction of polynomials, which were taken from the Quarter 2 Module 4 of Mathematics 7 titled Addition and Subtraction of Polynomials by Joanne S. Sedano. At the end of this video, you are expected to add and subtract polynomials. But before we proceed to those two lessons, let us first recall what are like or similar terms. These are terms that contain the same literal coefficient. When we say they have the same literal coefficients, they must have the same variable with same corresponding exponents. We have here examples of similar and dissimilar terms. For this first column, we have the examples of similar or like terms. So we have here a similar term because we have all whole numbers 2, -5, and 7. For this second example, x, 8x, and -2/3 x, as you can see, they have the same literal coefficient, which is the variable x. For this third example, 3xy squared and -4xy squared, again, they have same literal coefficient, and that is xy squared. And for this last example, the same literal coefficient is a squared b cubed. Next, we have here examples of dissimilar terms. Example, first example, 3 and y. For 3, since it's a whole number, it doesn't have a literal coefficient. But for the second term, we have y. Therefore, they are dissimilar terms. For this second example, 3x squared and 3/4 x cubed, the literal coefficients are x squared and x cubed, which are not similar because they have different exponents for x. For the third example, 3xy squared and 3x squared y, they both have the variables x and y. But if you're going to observe the exponents, they are obviously different. For x, we have 1 for the first term, 2 for the second term. For the y, we have 2 for the first term and 1 for the second term. Therefore, they are not similar terms. And for the last example, we have 2a squared b squared and 5a squared b cubed. As you can see, they both have the literal coefficient a squared, but they differ on the exponent of b, which is 2 for the first term and 3 for the second term. So still, they are dissimilar terms. Now, let us see how we're going to apply what we know about similar and dissimilar terms to our today's lesson, which is first, addition of polynomials. How are we going to add polynomials? We simply have to combine similar terms. Take note, we cannot combine terms which are dissimilar. So in combining similar terms, we have to get the sum of the numerical coefficients and annex the same literal coefficients. Take note, when we say numerical coefficients, these are the number part of a given term. For the literal coefficients, these are the letter part, including the exponents of a given term. Examples. Add x squared minus 2x plus 3 and 4x squared plus x minus 2. So take note, we have to combine similar terms. Now, if we're going to look at those two terms, we have three pairs of similar terms. First pair is First pair are x squared and 4x squared. So we're going to combine them. That's x squared plus 4x squared. Another pair of similar terms are negative 2x and x. So adding those two, we have negative 2x plus x. And the last pair is the pair of the whole numbers 3 and negative 2. Now combining those similar terms, we now have the sum of the numerical coefficients, and that is 1 plus 4, we have 5. Then simply annex the same literal coefficient. So we have 5x squared. Always remember, when we have a literal coefficient without a visible numerical coefficient, then that is well understood to have 1. For the next pair of similar terms, that's negative 2 plus 1. Then affix the common literal coefficient, which is x. So negative 2 plus 1, that is negative 1, then affix x. But since we have a literal coefficient and the numerical coefficient is 1, we don't have to write 1 as the numerical coefficient. So we simply have here negative x plus the sum of 3 and negative 2, that is 1. So we have 5x squared minus x plus 1, which is the sum of x squared minus 2x plus 3 and 4x squared plus x minus 2. Second example, find the sum of 4x squared minus 6x plus 1 and negative 6x squared plus 3x plus 1. So again, we have to combine similar terms. So first, look at the first term of the first polynomial, that is 4x squared, and look for each or look for look for its pair on the second polynomial, that is negative 6x squared. Combining these two, we have 4 plus negative 6, or simply 4 minus 6, that's negative 2. Then annex the literal coefficient x squared. Second term of the first polynomial is negative 6x. Now, looking at the second polynomial, we have to look for the term which is similar to negative 6x, and that is the term with the variable x. So, we have 3x. Now, combining negative 6x plus 3x, we now have the sum of their numerical coefficients, negative 6 and 3. And that is negative 3 Then I fix the variable x. Then for the last terms or last pair of similar terms, we have the sum of the whole numbers or the constant. That's 1 plus 1, and that is 2. So the sum of those two given polynomials is negative 2x squared minus 3x plus 2. Another example, add 3 minus 2x plus x squared and 6x squared plus 5x minus 4. In solving, let us arrange the first term in standard form, like the second polynomial. So from 3 minus 2x plus x squared, we now have x squared minus 2x plus 3. Now from our first two previous examples, we have added the given polynomials in horizontal form. Now we have here addition in vertical form by writing the similar terms on a single column. So first we have x squared minus 2x plus 3. Then we have to align 6x squared plus 5x minus 4 to their respective pair with same literal coefficient. So for the x squared, we have positive 6x squared. For negative 2x, we have positive 5x. And for positive 3, we have negative 4. Adding those pairs of similar terms, we now have 1 plus 6, that's 7. Then copy x squared. Negative 2 plus 5, that's positive 3. Then copy or bring down the common literal coefficient, which is x, and positive 3 plus negative 4, that is negative 1. Therefore, the sum of those two polynomials is 7x squared plus 3x minus 1. Another example, add 4a minus 3b plus 2c, 5a plus 8b minus 10c, and negative 12a plus c. So first, we have to combine all terms with the variable a. So we have 4a, 5a from the second polynomial, and negative 12a on the last polynomial. So the sum here is 4 plus 5, that's 9, minus 12 is negative 3. Then bring down the variable a. Next, we have the terms with the variable b. We have negative 3b, positive 8b, and since we don't have a variable with, or since we don't have a term with the variable b on the third polynomial, then we can just write positive 0b, or we can just remove this one and leave it as blank. So with that, we have negative 3 plus 8, that is positive 5b. For the terms with the variable c, we have 2c, negative 10c, and c. 2 minus 10, that's negative 8, plus 1 is negative 7. So the sum of those three polynomials are negative 3a, or is negative 3a, plus 5b minus 7c. Take note, we must not add terms which are not similar. So the answer here is negative 3a plus 5b minus 7c. That is how to add polynomials. We have here one more last example. Find the sum of 7x squared minus 10x minus 6 and negative 8x squared minus 9x plus 15. So again, combining like terms, we have 7 minus 8, that's for the variable or literal coefficient, x squared. So we have negative 1 or simply negative x squared. Then we have negative 10x and negative 9x. Adding these two, that's negative 10 plus negative 9, we have negative 19. Then, affix the common literal coefficient, that is x. Then negative 6 plus 15, that is 9. So the sum of those two polynomials is negative x squared minus 19x plus 9. That is how to add polynomials. Now let's proceed to the subtraction of polynomials. Now let's proceed to subtraction of polynomials. How are we going to subtract polynomials? We simply have to change the sign of the subtrahend, then proceed to the steps in adding polynomials. In changing the sign of the subtrahend, we have samples. First, subtract negative 18xy cubed and negative 14xy cubed. Observe that those two terms are similar. So, combining them, we have negative 18xy cubed minus negative 14xy cubed. Minus negative, that will become plus. Or, changing the sign of the subtrahend, negative to positive, we now have 14xy cubed. Now, since we have changed the subtrahend, then the operation becomes addition. So that is now negative 18 plus 14, that is negative 4. Then affix the literal coefficient xy cubed. Therefore, the difference of those two terms is negative 4xy cubed. Second example, subtract 4x squared minus 4x minus 7x squared minus 3x. Take note, the operation here is subtraction. Therefore, to make it addition, we have to change all the signs of all the terms in our subtrahend. So positive 7x squared now becomes negative 7x squared. From negative 3x, we now have positive 3x. Now combining like terms, we have for the literal coefficient x squared, that's 4 minus 7 or 4 plus negative 7. That is negative 3x squared. For the variable x, we have negative 4 and positive 3. That's negative 1, then affix x or simply negative x. So that is negative 3x squared minus x. Take note, we cannot combine these two terms because they are not similar. You cannot change it to negative 4x squared or x cubed. Third example, subtract 6mn squared from 18mn squared. Take note of the word from. When we say from, it or the given term is taken from that number, meaning we have to consider the term or the polynomial after the word from, then minus the first term or polynomial before the word from. So that's 18mn squared minus 6mn squared. That's 18 minus 6 or 18 plus negative 6, that is 12 mn squared. Another example, subtract 4a cubed plus 2a squared plus 6a minus 5 from 6a cubed minus 5a squared plus 11a plus 8. This time, we're going to subtract those two polynomials in or using a column or using vertical columns. So take note again, since we have the word from, we started with, or the subtrahend is negative 4a cubed. The subtrahend is 4a cubed plus 2a squared plus 6a minus 5. So first, we have to copy the minuend, that's 6a cubed minus 5a squared plus 11a plus 8. Now, changing the signs of the subtrahend, we now have negative 4a cubed minus 2a squared minus 6a minus, or from minus, we now have plus 5. Now, combining each similar terms, we have 6 plus negative 4, that's 2a cubed. Negative 5 minus 2, that's negative 7a squared. 11 minus 6, that is 5. Then bring down a. Then 8 plus 5 is 13. So the difference of those two polynomials is 2a cubed minus 7a squared plus 5a plus 13. Next example, subtract 9x squared minus 4x minus 5 from the sum of 6x squared plus 3 and 4x squared minus 8x plus 1. Take note, since we have the word from again, we have to start from the sum of 6x squared plus 3 and 4x squared minus 8x plus 1. And working on with those two polynomials, we have combining like terms, that's 6x squared plus 4x squared, that is 6 plus 4 is 10. Then copy the literal coefficient x squared. Then for the variable x, since we only have one term, so bring down negative 8x. Then for the constants, that's positive 3 plus 1, we have 4. So since we have added those two polynomials, we can now subtract 9x squared minus 4x minus 5 from the sum. So that is now 10x squared minus 8x plus 4 minus 9x squared minus 4x minus 5. Since the operation is subtraction, we have to change all the signs of the subtrahend, then proceed to addition. So from 9x squared minus 4x minus 5, we now have negative 9x squared plus 4x plus 5. Now combining like terms, that's 10 plus negative 9 is 1. 1x squared or simply x squared. Then we have negative 8x plus 4x. We have negative 4x. For the constant, 4x, and for the constant, Positive 4 plus 5 is 9. Therefore, the answer is x squared minus 4x plus 9. Now, using same example, let us solve using vertical columns. So for the sum of 6x squared plus 3 and 4x squared minus 8x plus 1, we have this solution. So 6 plus 4 is 10, bring down x squared. 0 plus negative 8, or take note, you can leave this blank. But to avoid errors on solution, we can just have here plus 0x. So that's negative 8, then bring down x. Then we have 3 plus 1, that's 4. For the second solution, we now have to subtract 10x squared minus 8x plus 4 by 9x squared minus 4x minus 5. Take note, we have to change the signs of all the terms on our subtrahend. So we now have negative 9x squared plus 4x plus 5. And simplifying all those similar terms, we have 10 plus 9, we have 10 plus negative 9, that's 1, or simply x squared. Negative 8 plus 4 is negative 4. Bring down x plus the sum of 4 and 5, that is 9. That is how to subtract polynomials. Always remember, in adding polynomials, we have to combine similar terms. That means we have to add or subtract the numerical coefficients of the given terms and affix the common literal coefficient. Now, if they are not similar, you copy them as it is because you cannot combine them. And for subtracting polynomials, we simply have to change all the signs of the subtrahend, then proceed to addition. That's all. Thank you for watching.